Okay, what's up? Alex here, and today I'm going to break down for you the absolute best dating strategy for Asian men. There's one strategy that stands heads and shoulders above the rest. If you're just like a normal Asian dude looking to find a long-term relationship or lifelong partner, there's all these different ways of meeting women and crazy lifestyles that you can do, and boat parties and Dambulzerian and whatever. But if you're just basically a normal Asian guy and you want to find the right lifelong partner to settle down with, then I'm going to break down to you exactly the best way to do that. So there's three main ways that you can go about meeting women. The first one is cold approach, the second is social circle, and the last one is online, okay? And I've tried all of these, okay? In the last 4 to 5 years across my personal dating journey, dipped my toes in all of these quite deeply. So I'm going to break down exactly kind of the pros and cons of each. First one is cold approach. Cold approach is when you walk up to a girl that you don't know at a bar or maybe at the mall, and you tell her that you like her and you somehow get her number and go on a date with her. It's pretty cool, honestly. It's very thrilling. It's massively anxiety inducing if you've ever tried it. I remember the first time doing it. I was in college, actually. I spent like 45 minutes sitting there and sweating and shaking and thinking of what I was gonna say to this girl because I saw some dude on YouTube do it. And I finally walked up to her, told her that like she looked pretty or something. It probably came out like just like mumbo jumbo, and then I was like, I couldn't even think straight, and then I just walked away because I couldn't even say anything more, and she just looked really confused. So if you've ever had that experience, you know how god awful it is. You know, I did get better over time, but like, you know, I'm gonna break down to you exactly kind of the pros and cons of this. And you know, the thing about cold approach is it takes a lot of time. Like, it takes a lot of time. If you're gonna get any sort of sizable results, first you gotta get good at it, which takes about, you know, probably 6 to 7 hours of just like practice every single week, hitting the bars or hitting the streets and just like talking to women. Tons of energy. I mean, you gotta be walking around, or you gotta be staying out until 3, 4, 5 in the morning for months on end, years to be honest, to really learn this stuff, because there's a huge learning curve. You don't get results for a very, very long time. It probably took me like 100 approaches before I got like one date, and that's one date. I mean, on average, most guys probably need to do like 200, 300 approaches before they probably sleep with one girl, and that's just like one girl who probably they don't even like that much or whatever. It's like, it takes a very, very long time to get any semblance of results, and that's a very easy way to start giving up very, very quickly. This is one of the fastest and easiest ways if you want to be like, oh, dating's really hard and this really sucks and these rejections really hurt and I'm just not going to try anymore. Like, you know, go for it. Go try cold approach. Or if you've tried it before, maybe you felt that way. I'm not even opposed to teaching cold approach one day. I don't think I'm like that good at it, but I have gotten results from it. But honestly, right now, I want to teach guys the method that gets the most results and the easiest and fastest, okay? Like, if there's one way that can get 95% of men 95% of results, that's what I want to help Asian guys with, right? It's like there's all these other methods that can get like 2% of men this little specific type of result or whatever, but I like the most generalized method that can get the most people what they actually want. That's fulfilling my mission of helping Asian men actually get into happy long-term relationships and being happy, you know, with the dating side of their lives. You know, you can definitely get good quality women, very attractive women, and build confidence using cold approach, but in my experience, like only about 1% of guys make it, as in like can consistently go on dates, get sex, get into relationships with women from cold approach. Even the best guys only get like 2 to 4 dates per month, and that's considered good. Okay, if you're average, like if you've been in cold approach for maybe like between 1 to 3 years and you're getting like 1 date a month or 1 date every other month, that's considered like kind of average. If you're a beginner, like you might be getting 1 date in your first 6 months. That's if you don't give up. Okay, so cold approach is extremely not beginner friendly, and I highly would not recommend it for guys who, you know, are not trying to spend a ton of time and a ton of energy just to get very, very little results. Or if you've been stung a lot by rejection before, like this is the surest way to make sure that you never want to even try dating again in the future. The second way is social circle, okay? And there's kind of two ways of doing social circle. One is just like having your normal friend groups in your existing social circle and kind of hitting on girls in there or trying to ask somebody out or whatever. You know, the advantage of that is there's greater trust within a group if you've known each other for a while already. So usually women would be more receptive to you than if you just like walked up to them at a bar. You're not going to get like a cold hard slap in the face kind of rejection. It's severely limited in volume. I mean, just think about how many females in your friend group there are and how many are single. Maybe if you have a big friend group, there's like 5 or 10, maybe. And out of those, how many of them want to date you? Okay, because the reason they're in your friend group is probably because they want to be your friend. And if you do somehow ask one of those girls out, it gets awkward. Like, if it doesn't go well, not only is it awkward between you and her, like it's awkward for the whole group. And either you just gotta leave the group or you gotta put up with the awkwardness, and then you just ruined a friend group that you've had for like years and years. And the thing is, like with friend groups, you also can't build skill. You can't like get more confident. You can't like go on dates in order to learn how to actually go on dates and move things forward with a woman, because you know you can't even get on a date. Like you have one sniper shot, and if you miss, you're done. And the chances are, you know, you're probably not very good at sniping. So if you snipe, you're gonna miss, right? You need to get good at sniping so that when you come across your dream woman, you can just like phew, and you know, get her to fall in love with you, right? So you need some degree of skill, and skill comes with volume, and you have no volume in this situation. The other way is to like build a social circle, and this is like Dan Bilzerian style like lifestyle, right? It takes a long time, okay? It takes years. I mean, like 5 to 10 years to build up your connections. You need a lot of resources, connections with like high level people who have like mansions and yachts and stuff and like money. Like if it's not your money, you got to get somebody else's money. You got to pull all these strings just to like get girls together and then, you know, throw these events and parties and stuff like that, or like try to get famous somehow. It's just super extravagant and completely unnecessary for the average guy who just wants to find a long-term relationship with a quality woman and want to settle down. And the truth is, like, if you're throwing these crazy boat parties and whatever, if you manage to somehow get there after 5 to 10 years and you're attracting these like Instagram models and stuff, like most of these women are looking for party and alcohol and attention. They're not the kind of woman that you want to be having kids with, and like the motherly woman who's going to be like raising a nice kid with like good values and education and all of that, right? So it just like completely doesn't make sense for like most men. And the thing is, if you don't already know how to attract women, it's also not going to work. Like imagine you spend 10 years and you do buy a yacht and you do have all the connections and you get all these IG girls onto your, you know, boat or something. If you haven't worked on the skill, again, the skill of attracting women, of how to talk to them, of actually having confidence, they're just going to be on there for the alcohol and the money and the attention and the Instagram photos. They're not actually going to be on the boat for you. Both of these are like extremely bad options. Again, for, you know, a normal Asian guy who's trying to find a long-term relationship. Now, let's look at online dating. Online dating, which by the way is the most popular and most used and most common way that people meet each other nowadays, okay? I have a friend who's a wedding photographer. He told me that 60% of his couples that he takes photos for met online. 60%. Think about that. Think about that. Especially post-COVID, when everything went online, it's like this is where people are going to intentionally meet a romantic partner. I mean, people aren't going to the bars to meet a partner. You know, girls aren't going on yachts to try to meet a partner. Girls are going on dating apps because that's where you go to meet another person who's also looking for a relationship. It just makes sense. Right? So it's extremely efficient, first of all. Okay, it's efficient because it doesn't take a lot of time. With like 10 to 20 minutes of swiping every single day, or swiping and messaging, okay, you could easily start setting up 2 dates per week. 2 dates minimum. It's extremely scalable. Okay, it's like one and done, as in if you do your profile correctly one time, you can use that forever. You can use that for the next 10 years. And you can show that one profile to all the tens of hundreds of thousands of single women in your city. You know, talk about scalable, talk about doing something one time and it's serving you unlimited amount of times. Like if you know anything about marketing or ads or anything like that, like if you create one ad and you just like tell Facebook, show this to 100,000 people, that's the most scalable thing you could possibly do. It's very beginner friendly. as in you're getting warm interactions. What I mean by that is if you're going on a date with a woman from online, she's already agreed to let's have an interaction where it's assumed that this is romantic. So now you're not talking to a stranger at a bar who could maybe throw a drink at you or call you a freak. You're not facing this like completely cold interaction. Like there's an agreed upon like frame where it's like we're looking at each other as potential romantic partners. This makes it so that, you know, you can go on a lot of dates and just kind of ease into it. Like with cold approach, for example, you gotta jump into cold freezing water and get rejected hundreds of times before you're even gonna get a date, not to mention a kiss, not to mention sleeping with her. You know, with online, it's like super easy. And the most important thing is you're not gonna want to give up. Right? Because with this, you get women who are basically already attracted to you to a certain degree, and you're going to be able to build confidence, not lose confidence. It's really good for skill building because there's just that much volume. You can just go on dates left and right. You can learn attraction, you can learn escalation, you can learn the dating phases, how to go from the first to the second to the fourth to the fifth date, right? Moving into a relationship. You have the volume and you have these easy interactions where it's like already pre-framed for you. You boost confidence very, very quickly, right? It goes up like smoothly because you're building skills. You're getting women who are showing interest in you. You're like, oh my gosh, like they actually do like me. And you're not waiting like 6 months before you find another one. It's like every week your confidence is building on itself. I mean, I can't say enough about the volume and access. It's just incredible. Like every single woman in your city is going to be on the dating apps, you know, at some point. Even if some women, you know, say they aren't on the apps, they've created a profile at some point. You know, when they're not meeting any new guys through their social circle, they're gonna get on the dating apps. That's where people go to meet their partners nowadays. And no other way of meeting women in the world has the ability to reach all the hundreds of thousands of single women in your city. The volume here, like look at your friend group. You know, there might be 5 single women in your friend group. There might be 50,000 single women in the city. I mean, think about the scale, the magnitude of how much more choices you have, right? And how much more room you have to mess up. Imagine you mess up with one girl in your friend group, you're fucked. You're done. But if you mess up with 5 girls, 10 girls, 50 girls from online, guess what? There's 49,000 more. You know, just the amount of volume and access you have is incredible. You can easily go on 2 to 3 dates per week immediately as a complete beginner with no experience at all. If you set up your profile correctly off the bat, it's one and done, and you start going on dates. And you start gaining that experience. You start building your skills with in person. Yeah, it's not this like incredible learning curve like cold approach where, again, like I said, you gotta just really hammer at it for maybe 6 months to a year before you even start getting some semblance of any results. And, you know, kind of one for sure downside is that you got to filter through a lot of volume and like catfishes and stuff. You know, with the greater volume comes like a lot of junk mixed into there. So, you know, maybe you go on some dates and the girls don't look like on the photos, or you're not a good match personality wise, and that's like to be expected, right? But I would way rather go on 10 dates every month and 2 of them are catfishes and still go on 8 dates rather than, you know, going on 1 date every month from whatever other of these methods, if you can even achieve that. It's like, it just doesn't compare. It's like in 3 months, I can go on 30 dates and just like find a girlfriend. Whereas with any of these other approaches, I challenge you to even go on 30 dates in a year or 2 years. Okay, like, you know, the comparison is wild. So here's the thing, like, here's my recommended learning curve. And this is specifically for Asian men who, you know, you're ready to settle down. You're not out there trying to be a playboy. You're not out there trying to become famous or do all these crazy things. You just want a normal woman that you're attracted to, that has good qualities and that you could see yourself building a life with together, and you don't want to waste all these years and time like learning and going through this crazy learning curve and getting rejected 1,000 times. Online is the best thing to start with, and for 95% of you guys out there, this will take care of everything. Like after that, you're done. You don't need anything else. You know, it takes 2 to 4 weeks to set up your profile. Extremely good. One and done. You start going on dates 2 to 3 per week. Within a matter of weeks, months, you know, most of my clients, they're going on dates like after 2 to 4 weeks. And after a couple months, you know, maybe max, they're finding a girlfriend, and that's it. You know, after that, you can just move on with your life, go back to doing all the hobbies, or just do more hobbies, do the things that actually matter to you, and not be spending all this time trying to learn these like crazy skills, like how to like walk up to 3 girls at a mall and ask out the hot one. Cold approach is good after that. If you've mastered online and it's still not, you know, meeting your needs, cold approach can be good, can definitely build confidence, can definitely give you a lot of cool adventures and very thrilling, and make some guys like feel more like a man when they can like approach a girl in person or whatever. Personally, I'm like, you know, that's cool. It's a cool skill, but I'd rather have the skill that like just gives me results the fastest and the easiest, not the one that like inflates my ego the most. If for some reason you want to become Dan Bilzerian and just have a bunch of girls on your yacht or penthouse or whatever, then yeah, you can totally go spend the next 5 and 10 years trying to build that up, and also making a lot of money to throw at that. Like I said, you know, if you're a normal Asian guy, maybe you're an engineer, maybe, you know, you're a doctor, a lawyer, or you work in some sort of technical field, and you just want a good woman to settle down with, and you don't want to spend, hell, 1 year, 2 years learning a skill that's gonna get you like 1 date a month. You don't, hell no, you don't want to spend 10 years building up this crazy boat party thing. You just want to go on some dates with some normal girls and find one that you find attractive and settle down for the long term. Then this is absolutely the fastest way, the most effective online dating. That's what I found. So, you know, online dating, that's the reason that I specifically help Asian guys with online dating. It's the best method for finding what most of you guys out there are actually wanting. Now the question after that is, okay, the reason you're watching this video is probably, well, none of these methods have worked for you before, including online dating. How do I actually make online dating work for me? In that case, if you're wondering that, go ahead and book in a call down below with me. We can speak one-on-one about your specific situation, see if you'd be a fit for my coaching program, which takes normal Asian guys and presents them in a way that shows all their value and allows them to start going on 2 to 3 dates every single week and quickly find the girlfriend, the partner, the lifelong partner that they actually want to be with. Go ahead and do that. Book in a call down below. Looking forward to speaking with you. And also go ahead and click on that subscribe button. That way you get notifications every single time I release a new valuable video for you guys. All right, so see you in the next one.